NCAA football today from Memorial Stadium in Lincoln, Nebraska, Oklahoma, and Nebraska.
And a whole lot of games here on this week's Weekend Spread. We got winners, 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 winners. Just kidding. We have a lot of losers, except for one guy went over 500, and that's me. Folks, welcome to the Weekend Spread. I'm your host, Bobby Howard. With me, we got Jameson, we got Ty, we got Bowden Blake. And folks, for people who like to talk about Crow a lot, I see a lot of Crow on the table right here.
Not one of us.
No one said
about eating Crow if we don't have a good.
No. I'm just saying everyone talked about all my Crow, but it turns out with Texas,
you brought it up more than we did.
With Texas, I was eventually right that they would blow up, and they did. And then I picked against everyone. They made fun of me. Y'all made fun of me for all the other picks, and they, other than Kansas, they kind of worked, folks. I feel pretty good.
Broken clock is right twice a day, Robert. Right twice a day.
In this case, 5 times compared to y'all's 2 and 3.
We never came on the air and said we would eat a crow if something happened. We were just picking. That just happens. Sometimes you just have a bad week. We had a bad week. Bobby has one big good week, and he thinks that he can try to get that crow taste out of his mouth that he did or did not eat. If anyone is listening that is in law enforcement, he did not eat a crow.
Legally
he did not
speaking,
eat
I didn't
any
eat
crow. No crow.
No crows eaten. Or no illegal avian were eaten on this show, or avian, avi. I don't know the plural for birds, but just birds. No bad birds were eaten. But anyways, guys, what a wild week in college football. I personally enjoyed it. And before we get started, I just kind of want to ask y'all your thoughts on the week. How crazy it was. We had cats falling out of upper decks. We had Florida State losing. Clay Helton's fired now. Just a wild week of college football. And Blake, what was it? What was last week like? It was just craziness.
Yeah, this is just one of those weeks where, look, I had a 25-pick slate on Sunday, and after 11 o'clock, nothing was hitting. And instead of just getting down in the dumps whenever that's happening, you just got to root for chaos at that point. You're losing money, but at least have some fun with it. And boy, did we have some fun with it last week. We saw Ohio State go down. We saw even some of the worst teams, like Florida State, were still getting shocked. We saw some very good, very close games. Even Appalachian State, you got that covered there, Bobby. They were keeping it close. It was just a great weekend of college football. And if something were to go very wrong with your picks, it might as well have been last weekend.
That is true, because everything was on fire. And Ty, I feel like of everyone who loves chaos, you might love it the most. What was your favorite part of the madness last week?
It's hard to pick one. I gotta say it's pretty iconic. The Florida State player proposing to his girlfriend while they're losing, and the other team is celebrating on the field, because it's there definitely was plenty of other time. That ring could have stayed in his pocket. It's week 2 of the season at home was not your last shot to do that, bro. You could have just been all right, we'll try this again next week or next home game or whatever. So just the decision to just go ahead with that is kind of ridiculous. Notre Dame almost losing was crazy. It's just the whole week was just absolute chaos, and a great week to be a fan. I mean, Texas made Arkansas look like Bama, which was absurd. It was a great week to be a fan of college football, and I, for the sake of betting, hope that the chaos maybe doesn't continue forward, but for the sake of being a fan and in the competitiveness of the sport, you love to see just unexpected things happening. Colorado, I love my Buffaloes out there almost upsetting A&M, all sorts of neat stuff.
Yeah, I mean, shout out Colorado, man. A&M should have lost that one, but God, what a wild day! What a wild day in college football. Jameson, I'll let you go before we dive into the picks. Your favorite thing of the madness?
I mean, we haven't even talked about Oregon beating Ohio State, which is nuts. And we'll kind of hit on the Iowa State game because we kind of talked about that being kind of a toss up. But Oregon beating Ohio State, with Oregon having their best 2 defensive players out that they mentioned maybe 30 times throughout the freaking broadcast, but obviously that's all they have to say. And Oregon looked legitimate. That's the thing. Ohio State, yeah, they had their moments where they weren't looking that hot, but Oregon looked like a legitimate good team. And making all that Pac-12 North talk, maybe Oregon can sneak and go through and run the table.
Yeah, Oregon's a legit contender. That defense was really good, and it wasn't like one of those upsets where Ohio State just looked bad all the way through, and Oregon just snuck by. Oregon outplayed them.
The Pac-12 is showing this season for sure that they are a Power 5 conference. I've been one.
It's just Oregon.
In years past. What do you mean just Oregon? Colorado is an abysmal. Colorado is bottom of the barrel.
UCLA's number 13
A&M's quarterback got hurt, and then USC lost to Stanford, and
if Bama
ASU struggling against UNLV, it's a lot of trash.
No, the Pac is nationally competitive this year. How many Big 12 teams could have gone into Ohio State?
BYU beat Utah.
BYU is not a Big 12 team. I don't think Oklahoma could have gone into Ohio State and won this weekend. I really don't.
The way that Ohio State was playing, I mean, even though they played average, they just didn't blow us away. UCLA right now being a top 15 team is absolutely laughable. That's about all you got.
I think they got a good win against LSU.
I'm not saying anything bad about UCLA. They beat LSU and that was great. They played really well there. But if you're talking about that's your hat that you're hanging on, like UCLA and Oregon, or Oregon played really well. Too. Yeah, but that's it. Too. That's it. UCLA being top 15 and saying that makes the Pac-12 legitimate. That ain't it, because they just played 2 games so far, and it's UCLA, and I still got a lot to see before I actually believe in that team.
Right. Fair enough.
I'm saying as of right now, they are, they have a winning record against every other conference right now, I believe.
Okay, well, let's just get into our picks. I think we're probably ready to get this dang thing going. So we're going to go snake draft, or snake picks as always. I'm going to kick this thing off. We're going to go me, Ty, Jameson, Blake, loop that back around. And let's get it started with our first of our picks, Cincinnati at Indiana. The Bearcats favored by 3.5. Our graphics a little messed up here. I apologize. And let's be honest, Indiana, really tough start for the Hoosiers. Straight off the bat, really embarrassing loss. But this is a chance to redeem them. I don't know if they do it here. Cincinnati looked weak last week, did rebound, got a big win towards the end, but that first half kind of concerns me. That being said, I think Cincinnati is just good enough to get this cover. Indiana's not the team they used to be. Neither is Cincinnati, but hey, they might get exposed at some point this year. So give me the Bearcats minus 3.5. Ty?
Yeah, I don't have a lot for this one. I like Cincy by 3 here, as these are 2 teams that I just never really can get interested in, so I can't bother to watch. But I will take the favorite at 3.
It's 350. It's 3.5, right, Bobby?
Yeah, it's 3.5.
Okay, yeah, so I'll take him at 3.5 as well, obviously.
Yeah. Awesome. Jameson, who do you got?
Yeah, I like Desmond Ridder as a quarterback at Cincinnati. I think he's been really talented for the past year. And what we saw from Indiana in week 1 showed you nothing to be confident about. And yeah, it's not like they played anyone last week to show me anything either. Cincinnati's a legitimate team. This isn't going to be an easy game for them, but I like I said, I really like the quarterback. I really like the team around him, and I'm going to go Cincinnati as well.
Yeah, fair enough. Blake, who do you got?
I hate consensus, but look, Michael Penix, one of the worst quarterback performances coming out week 1. 0 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, not even 50% passes completed. And you're telling me you're going up against a good Cincinnati squad that took Georgia down to the line in the Peach Bowl last year. They played a whole bunch of trash this year, but they're basically bringing back that same squad, maybe a little bit less on the defense versus an Indiana team I'm not betting on Michael Penix at all. Give me Cincinnati. Bearcats gonna roll.
Fair enough. I also do not like Michael Penix, and I'm sorry, the name just overall just
Mike Penix.
Okay. Moving on to our next game. This is a big one. Auburn at Penn State. Nittany Lions favored by 6 in Happy Valley. Blake, do you think that SEC speed is going to have an advantage over over the Penn State Nittany Lions here?
This is the absolute worst game to pick on the schedule because you either got to choose Bo Nix or you got to choose the Big Ten version of Bo Nix, which is Clifford for Penn State. Both of them throw hella picks. They suck at quarterback, and you got to pick one of these. So I look at it, and Penn State, been impressive. Not going to lie. They shut out Wisconsin on the road. Shut out Ball State, a good MAC team. I don't trust MAC teams early on in the year. Good MAC team, nonetheless. But then you have Auburn. Auburn's been just straight boat racing random teams. And with points between two bad quarterbacks, give me Bo Nix. I hate this.
Yes!
But I just remember the Auburn-Oregon game and Bo Nix underthrowing the game-winning throw by 10 yards, and the receiver made the best play of all time. I'm taking Auburn. This is bad. This is bad. Don't bet this game. If you're putting extra money, don't bet this game. You'll hate yourself.
It does sound painful. Jameson, who do you got?
I love me some Bo Nix, Blake. Give me Auburn +6, baby. Going in. I'm eating trash, baby. Give me all the trash. I'm hungry. Give me it.
Jameson's out here partying like it's 2019, and Bo Nix just came back and beat Oregon. I love it. All right, Ty, who do you got?
Can I just say Blake's description of someone as the Big Ten version of Bo Nix sounds like the worst possible combination of words I can ever think of. But I will say when I looked at this one, really the one thing it came down to for me was how much these teams have been tested. And Penn State has played a conference game against a ranked, I think they're probably worse than everyone expects, and I think that's becoming obvious, but a ranked Wisconsin team. Auburn has played Akron and then Appalachian State or something like one of those trash FCS teams. I'm sorry, not Appalachian State, but Alabama State. Auburn has not. I understand they boat race people, and I understand they have that ability, but this is their first, big boy game of the year. This is not Penn State's first big boy game of the year, and it's at Penn State. So I'm comfortable with a -6 for Penn State here for the home team.
Yeah, I'm also rolling with the Nittany Lions here. I think they're a much improved team from last year. I get that Auburn has been killing teams, but you can only play FCS East so many times. I think Penn State has they have a seasoned win on them. They have that under their belt. I think Happy Valley is going to be rocking. That is going to be an absolute incredible atmosphere. Auburn's not going to be fazed by it, but it's going to boost Penn State up. Again, I concur with Blake. Do not bet this game. It is trash. But I'm going to go with the home favorites here. I think 6 is a solid enough number to take Penn State. Anything higher, and I would be a little nervous. Moving on, great battle in the SEC early. The Alabama Crimson Tide going into the swamp to face the Florida Gators. Bama favored by 15.5. I'm going to get this thing started. So, first time we had a good Alabama game, the big concern was, were they getting too many points against Miami? And they weren't. They murdered them. Well, let me just say this right now. Florida is not a very good team. I think Florida lost a lot of pieces last year. They are not as good as their ranking indicates. And personally, I do not see this game being competitive. I think Alabama wins big in the swamp, and this is going to be a bit of a minor test. They have the ability to overcome moments like this. We've seen the same 15.5 line against bad LSU teams. They come out with a win anyways. So give me the Tide. Ty?
Easy. This one is easy money, I think. I think it's a little high right now. I think it will correct itself a little bit. But I think Bama minus 15.5. They're going to Florida, no factor. Florida, I think, is riding some residual highs from previous years. I think they've probably lost a little step this year, in my opinion. And I think that Bama takes this one pretty easily. I think Florida has a rough road ahead of them, especially with as good as Georgia's looking as well. So give me Bama. Give me Bama, of course, here.
For sure. Jameson?
Yeah, like you said, Bobby, there is a lot of turnover on that offensive side of the ball from Florida. So let's just talk about that. Do they have the offensive firepower to keep up with Alabama? I don't believe in Emory Jones, their quarterback. He threw 2 interceptions for South Florida, a team that is just miserable in the past couple of years. And then, okay, let's take on the other side of this. Can their defense at least hold Alabama to enough to keep it within 15.5? That same South Florida game, they gave up 20 to South Florida, 20 points. Yeah, give me Alabama.
For sure. Yeah, dang. Blake, will you complete the consensus here?
Y'all are all wrong. Florida is going to cover this game, and let me tell you why. For what y'all were saying about Bama and boat racing teams, I know. I saw the Miami game. I was on Miami, but look. Bama beat Mercer by 34 points. That is sad. Like, they should wake up and beat Mercer by 70. They won by 34 this past weekend. And look, I saw Florida and South Florida's final box score. But let me tell you this. Emory Jones isn't the problem here. It's going to be Anthony Richardson. This guy put up the most sexy stat line in USF. He's probably not going to start, but once, Emory Jones is going to come out, play like crap. And then this guy, Anthony Richardson, is going to come in. He had 7 attempts, 7 passing and rushing attempts as quarterback. He was 3 for 3 passing for 152 and 2 touchdowns. And then he had 4 attempts rushing for 115 yards and 1 touchdown. This guy is going to be a menace. He's going to be a menace for Alabama. They're not going to be prepared for him. They're going to be prepared for Emory Jones. They're going to pull this guy out at halftime. They're going to start swarming back a little bit. I think they get the backdoor cover with Anthony Richardson. He is electric. As we saw back, it feels like 20 years ago with Johnny Manziel, running quarterbacks can give them issues. And Derrick King was supposed to do that. Didn't do that because of his torn ACL, his bum ACL that I didn't know about. And I made a mistake there.
I told you.
His bum ACL, but Anthony Richardson, this redshirt freshman, is a lightning bolt. He is electric. He is going to cover this. Florida plus 15.5 at home. Thank me later, y'all.
I think you did the exact same thing that you did with the Miami game, but you just switched out Florida and Derrick King. You know, you just flopped the words around.
I know.
They have no tape. They have no tape on this guy. They have 7 plays. As I said, 7 plays. He ran 7 plays and just ran all over him. How are you going to get tape on this guy?
I understand that whenever you're on podcasts and you're putting your thing out to the public, that you have to have a lot of freezing cold takes, because if we just say moderate stuff, nobody's going to get anything.
Dude,
but let me just say...
I will show you my account. Right when 15.5 Florida came out, I placed a bet on them. I am that confident. I am that confident.
And I completely respect you for that. I completely respect you that. But I'm going to criticize you, and you're going to say that Florida's starting quarterback, is going to get pulled at halftime, and they're going to cover. What is that? Yep. How does that match up?
Your strategy is that their starter is going to be so atrocious that they're going to get in such a terrible hole that their backup is going to come in, who reminds you of Johnny Manziel, who you think played 20 years ago, and Derrick Henry, who was a running back for Bama.
Or Derrick King, King is bum ACL. Yes, he's going to cover. He's going to cover. It's going to be electric. They're going to be like, here comes the Gators.
How far down do they have to be?
The bum ACL
quarterback and put in their second.
I think they'll get down by 14 or 21, 2 or 3 really bad drives. They're going to put this guy in.
You think if they're down by 2 touchdowns to Bama, they're going to pull their quarterback?
Yep. This guy, he's already on the fringe. He's barely hanging by a thread. So 2-3 and outs. Anthony Richardson's coming in and is going to start lighting it up, and it's going to be a fireworks show, baby.
Oh my God. I could listen to this all day, but we got to move on to some more picks for sure. Next up, we have the honestly, one of the games in the Big 12 I'm most excited for. It's the Suck Bowl. Baylor at Kansas. The Bears getting 17.5 points. Blake, I'll let you start off on this one. We've talked about how bad Baylor is. Are they covering this 17.5?
They are. The Jason Bean come out game against Coastal Carolina was great, but when I look back at it, all those emotions going through me, they still didn't cover the spread. KU had the game of their lifetimes this season and still didn't cover the spread.
Jason Bean would have scored that game-winning touchdown if he was in. He got hurt.
Jason Bean, I looked it up, he could barely throw the ball worth crap. Like, I thought he's a lot better. Barely 50%, if not less. Good runner, but look, Bohannon's clicking. They destroyed Texas Southern this past weekend. I think the Boko was the anomaly. Baylor's not going to be good this year, but I think Kansas is really that bad. I got the perfect juicy line after seeing Kansas do something. People are going to overhype them. Give me Baylor.
Okay, there you go. Jameson, who do you got?
So let's talk about Texas Southern. They lost their first game to Prairie View. I don't know what that is. 40-17.
Prairie View A&M, baby.
So Prairie View goes on and beats them by 23. And yes, Baylor beat them by 59. Good. But I'm a man of the bean, and I want to be a bean man. I was so bad. I understand that Coastal Carolina, I picked them, and I felt pretty good about them covering last week. But man, did I want to be a man of the bean last week and cheer harder for them. And I just want that feeling. Let me get on the bean train. Everyone all aboard. I'm picking Kansas, baby, at home.
I love it. Ty, who do you got?
Yeah, I love to see Jameson back on the Mighty Beans train. long history there. But I will say, when it comes down to this game, 2 words, 4 syllables, and I gotta say it. Kansas outright.
Whoa!
I mean, okay, that should not be surprising because I committed myself to this take like a month ago because I didn't do my homework prior to the Big 12 Picks pod. So, I'm just, required. I'm fully committed to this. There's no other, path. And you guys laugh now, but this is, I think, less absurd than what Blake just said about Bama the past every time we've discussed anyone playing Bama. So...
All right, so, okay, I love it. Okay, make it 3 beans in a pod. I'm going with the Jayhawks.
No.
Look, they almost pulled it off against Coastal. They're going to get the jump.
They didn't, Bobby. They didn't even cover the spread. They were there for one half.
I said they almost pulled off the spread against Coastal.
Coastal is...
I'm picking spreads, Blake. I'm picking spreads here, buddy. I believe in the bean. I'm a bean boy. All 3 of us are some bean boys right now. I think that Kansas gets this cover at home. They're going to win one for Lance Leipold. This is good. This is going to be the one that gets KU over that -1.5 mark. Give me KU. I love it.
Oh my God, this is a 2:30 game, and I'm going to be running from the Nebraska game straight to a TV to watch the bean.
Oh, come to our tailgate. We will be the only tailgate on campus showing Baylor KU. I can't wait.
Get your ESPN Plus ready.
Oh yes, I can't wait to forget about that. Forget to cancel that one. All right, moving on to our next game. This is a game I know Blake loves. The Nevada Wolfpack and their very strange, I don't know, horny wolf with a hat at Kansas State.
Dapper wolf.
He's a dapper wolf. Yeah, he's not as bad as the NC State one, who's literally slobbering at Kansas State. So this line, Nevada at Reno, favored by 2.5. And as much as I love Kansas State, with the news that Skylar Thompson is down and out indefinitely, as in he will not play until he shows up against OU and inevitably beats us, you got to go with Nevada here. I've been listening to Blake's takes. I agree with him on this. I'm riding with the Wolfpack as well. So go UNR minus 2.5. I think they pull this off. K-State looked very, very unimpressive with Skylar Thompson out against who I don't know, the little
Southern, the Saluki.
Yeah. Southern Illinois, the Salukis. They played in Oklahoma City one year in the NCAA tournament. So yeah, give me Nevada to beat K-State here. Ty?
Yeah, I think Nevada is the easy take here. K-State, unfortunately, hard times for K-State right now, and I think Nevada is going to capitalize. I don't really know anything about Nevada. I really am picking against K-State here, but yeah, give me Nevada minus 2.5.
Yeah, fair enough. Jameson, who you got?
Yeah, Blake, your boy had 4 touchdowns and 0 interceptions last week, looking pretty good. No Skylar Thompson. We've seen this for a long time. Whenever he goes out, even he's a good player. He's not like a game changer, but whenever that offense loses him, they go to their backup and Will Howard. And Will Howard, it just is perennially miserable as a quarterback. He just comes in and just kills everything that they have. Do not feel confident at all there. They will be in shambles. Let's see if Nevada can come out and pull off another big one. So let's go with Nevada minus 2.5.
I just love the phrase perennially miserable. It's so accurate for Will Howard. We do not accept him as a Howard. Speaking for the other Howards. All right, Blake, I feel like the air has been let out of your balloon here, but as I can see by your shirt, you're excited for Nevada, so go off.
Let's go. You know where I'm going, the Wolfpack. I've been tooting their horn all year long, and even after last week, it confirmed it a little bit more. TCU played poorly against Cal, but look, Nevada, a Mountain West school, on the road at Cal, played significantly better than TCU, a soon-to-be probably in the next few weeks, played them, and I've been saying this all year, Cal's offense is awesome. Carson Strong is an incredible quarterback. They have 3 Biletnikoff watch list guys at receiver. They're an electric offense. They are like my new Hawaii to bet because they don't usually play till 9:30 at night. They're awesome. They're fun. Give me the Wolfpack. Woo! Because Will Howard, Jameson hit hammer on the nail right there. Will Howard sucks. He's really bad. Like he's really, really bad. So if anything, just fade him. I think this is given a 2.5. That's just easy money.
Our seat's gone down to 2 as well.
Yeah,
I took it. I'm gonna hit again. Like this is Nevada is so good. Like I'm starting to get excited. I don't think they're gonna go undefeated. I think they might. They
play Boise next week. Or not next week. Their next game. They get a bye the next week, and then the next week's up.
I'm loving this spicy Mountain West action. I'm all about
at
it.
Boise.
I'm fine with that. It's gonna be put that on the slate, Bobby. I don't care what else is on the week. Put that on the slate. I'm not doing that as a wild card game. We're talking about that one.
Now, speaking of Boise, Oklahoma State travels to the Blue Turf this weekend to take on Boise State. The Broncos favored by 4 at home. Oklahoma State, really rough start so far to the season, narrowly escaping both Missouri State and Tulsa. Blake, do you think the Broncos get a home cover?
I think this one, it goes back to a few things. First, similar to Hawaii, when you're on the Blue Turf, you just got to bet for Boise. I know that's going to change in a few weeks, but you just got to bet for Boise here. They perform so much better on the Blue Turf. And look, Spencer Sanders sucks. Like, this man is a legitimately bad quarterback. I thought he was going to take the jump last year. Didn't really, and I was like, oh, he's just waiting a year or going to be fine. Last week versus Tulsa, it killed any support I had for OSU this year doing anything good. There's no way. They haven't had a convincing win yet. At least Boise can blow out UTEP. I don't even think OSU can do that right now. Give me Boise. Bachmeier's awesome. They're fun. OSU sucks this year. They're awful.
Yeah, that's the thing. I am torn because I would think that Oklahoma State would come out and bounce back, but you'd said that last week, and then to come out versus Tulsa and almost lose to a team that just lost to an FCS opponent. I don't know what's going on there. Oklahoma State, I think that here's the thing with Spencer Sanders. He can't throw the ball unless he throws it up to the moon and Tylan Wallace comes down with it in the corner of the end zone. That's the only throw he knows how to. He throws the ball so high into the corners, and that he just throws fades all day. And I'm sorry, there's no wide receivers on that Oklahoma State roster that can do that. No, give me Boise State -4.
Fair enough. Ty?
Yeah, I like Boise -4 here as well. I think they, inherently have a great home field advantage. It's a really far way to travel, and Oklahoma State, like everyone else has talked about, has just been very, very disappointing this year so far. So, you never know. Mike Gundy is a decent coach, but I like Boise by 4 here.
Yeah, I don't want to, beat a dead horse here, but yeah, OSU does not look like the team that we thought they were. Boise, for all their flaws, I think they can handle Oklahoma State at home on the blue turf. I say they get this cover here for sure. Moving on, we have a game that should be an ACC game, but is not an ACC game. It is Virginia Tech at West Virginia. Mountaineers favored by 2.5 at home at the venerable Milan Puskar Stadium. I'm going to get it started here. I have been out on West Virginia since week 1, since previews, and this line to me is, I think it's still a little funky. Look, I'm wary of the Hokies being a one-hit wonder after their big win over North Carolina, but at the same time, I'm still out on West Virginia. Give me Virginia Tech to win on the road. This is a tricky pick. I know I might be stepping in it a bit, but I think the Hokies can pull this one off. Ty?
Yeah, I think Virginia Tech outright, like you said, is the way to go. I really don't see what other people are seeing that has West Virginia even favored here. I would have assumed that there would be a bigger reaction to what was admittedly an upset win by Virginia Tech against UNC. But I really think at this point we're getting into the point of the season where I think it's safe to bet on sort of the proven teams, like I talked about with Penn State, Auburn, and Virginia Tech is the more proven team here, and I think hopefully that's going to show. And I think they're just straight up outright. But yeah, give me Virginia Tech to cover.
Nice, Jameson.
Yeah. I completely understand that side of the argument. This is going to be a really good game. It's going to be fun to watch just from the curiosity of a Big 12 perspective. I'm with you, Bobby. I'm worried about Virginia Tech being one-hit wonder because I feel like I've seen them do this in the past multiple times, so it makes me feel weird. And I'm going to go back to what I said after that Maryland loss. I understand West Virginia did not play well. They lost and they were on the road, but they turned the ball over, I think, 4 times, and Maryland didn't. And I think that if they can compose themselves, not turn the ball over that much, and get within the run game with Letty Brown, I think they can pull off the win. So I'm going to go against the grain and go West Virginia -2.5.
Fair enough. I feel like that is a very small line for a home team. So I definitely feel that. Blake, who do you got?
Well, we got one sane person on this podcast. Give me West Virginia. I think y'all are overreacting to 2 different games. First, UNC Vautech. UNC outgained them in about every statistical category besides score, and Virginia Tech was lucky enough to come out of there with a win. And they played Middle Tennessee State last week. They won by like 21-28 versus like a small school like that. And I looked at their stats. They're averaging less than 150 pass yards per game. This team, like Virginia Tech, the reason why they're not favored in this game and they're ranked is because they have an anemic passing offense. They cannot move the ball to save their lives. And I know there's not much to look at when it comes to West Virginia with that, but look, like West Virginia was up on Maryland going into the 4th, and it was 2 unfortunate turnovers that turned the tide of that game. But they went out last week versus a absolute nobody, but allowed less than 100 yards for them. They have a very stout defense, like I talked about whenever the West Virginia-Maryland matchup. So they have a good defense, and I trust their offense to move it a little bit more than Virginia Tech, which Virginia Tech was struggling to move it against Middle Tennessee State. I just can't trust that. This is just one of those rankings that they get early on. The AP voters give them because they upsetted a preseason favorite, and I was really high on UNC, but look, like, Just because you beat one team at the beginning of the year doesn't make you a good team. Give me West Virginia. This is a trap game. People will think Virginia Tech is better just because they're ranked, but give me West Virginia.
Yeah, no, I think that's fair. And, it's kind of the same thing we did the first time West Virginia. Me and Ty had dissenting opinions on it, where y'all have a bunch of really good stats, and our response was West Virginia bad. And it worked the first time. It might not work this time. We'll see. But I'm you got to ride with a horse that gets you there. And that horse is West Virginia bad. So
yeah, just to be clear, my pick here was not Virginia Tech is good, although that's what I kind of spoke to a little bit more. My take here was that I still have yet to see anything redeemable from West Virginia, so I'm just going to continue to pick against them.
That's fair.
There you go.
Because they have not put the record does not. Yeah, the record does not indicate that they're good at all. So
fair enough. All right, next up we got the game of the century, the game everybody's going to be watching this college football Saturday. We got the Nebraska Cornhuskers traveling to Norman. OU is favored by 23. I don't know why. That seems a little inflated to me. Kidding, of course. All right, Blake, you're going to start us off here. Do you think the Sooners are going to cover this 23-point spread?
Crap, I was hoping I wouldn't be the first one. This is like, I research all the picks, and when I looked at this one, I would go, I don't know. Look, OU blew out Western Carolina. They were bad against Tulane. They're a good team. Nebraska, bad team. Just give me Nebraska. Give me Nebraska, just so I can root against OU. I hope Adrian, I don't know which Martinez brother is there right now.
It's no brothers. No brothers.
They're not brothers.
We talked about this in the other podcast.
This is the topic of the last podcast. They looked and ESPN called Adrian Taylor. So horrible.
Okay, not brothers, but whichever one is there, I don't know which one is there. Just run him. He's a running back. Just run the Wildcat. He can't pass worth crap. Maybe a backdoor cover. I'll root against OU. I'm fine living with that. Give me Nebraska.
Fair enough. Chalk one up for the Alliance there.
I'm not. No, I hate the Alliance. I'm not Alliance. Big 12 gang on its own. We ain't SEC. We ain't Alliance. We're in our own streets, Bobby. I don't know what you're talking about. So
there you go. I forgot they didn't invite you. Sorry about that. All right, Jameson, who do you got?
I think this is really simple to break it down like this. Can OU outscore them by a touchdown each quarter? Yes, I think so. I feel pretty good about OU with this line. Tulane, I feel like we'd be remiss to not talk about, even though they played a poor opponent last week, but their offense was on fire in the first half. What was it, 56 or something points, versus Morgan State? I don't know that number, but all it was is they were putting up numbers. So obviously, even though it was against Tulane.
Tulane.
Tulane. Yes,
I thought you were talking about Western Carolina. I'm like, Morgan State.
Yeah.
Okay.
So essentially, that game is absolutely pressing down OU. People are unsure about them. But here's the deal. That was an away game. This is a home game, baby. And we're going to get them going. I love me some OU minus 23 here.
Love to hear it. Ty, who you got?
I think OU is the reasonable take. Like I talked about on the last one, nothing would surprise me at this point with OU. But like Jameson said, we can beat them by a touchdown in each quarter. And if we stay on the gas, which we've now proven that we're willing to do, I think this is an easy cover for Oklahoma. And I think it's going to be a great highlight reel game for OU. So give me OU minus 23.
Yeah. I agree with you. As we touched on in the Schooner pod a bit, this might have been a chance for OU to have a letdown game like they did against Tulane. But, I really think OU is going to be focused. This is our chance to really show out on a national stage against a team that, at the very least, has people watching them. I don't know why they would. I feel a lot of pity for the people in Nebraska that have to watch them over and over again. And think that they might get back to where they were before. It's tragic, but I think OU covers this. I think they put the pedal on the gas, really bury the Huskers here, and get the easy 23-point cover, which is a crazy thing to say, but I don't know. I just think the Sooners will dominate in all facets of the game and show out against the really only other solid non-conference opponent on their schedule. So, all right, we have picked our slate. Now time for our favorite pick of the week, the wild card pick. And I'm gonna open it up here with, it's kind of going back to the well, but not. So my pick is Marshall -10 over Eastern Carolina. I opened up the slate way back in week 1. Picked App State to beat Eastern Carolina by 10. That worked fine. I think Marshall might be better than App, honestly. They've been blowing teams out. And granted, Eastern Carolina is a better team than that. But I'm high on the Marshall offense. I think 10 is a very attainable spread to surpass. So give me the Thundering Herd to cover 10 points against Eastern Carolina.
Wait, before you get to your pick, Ty, you think Marshall's better than App State after what App State did to a ranked Miami team, Tommy? What?
Well, I mean, look,
we blew out Navy, who's like one of the worst teams in the FBS.
No, look,
I'm just. They're better.
Well, look, I just think we'll see it on the field. Last year we saw Marshall beat them pretty solid. I know last year isn't this year. That being said, we will actually get to see this matchup be played out in a couple weeks. Again, spicy take. App State has done more than Marshall for sure. And again, I'm not big on Miami though, so maybe that's a spicy take. But yeah, Ty.
Yeah, so for my pick, let me get my pick out there and then my analysis and then my pick. So the game that I am picking is Arizona State at BYU. Currently, Arizona State is favored by 3.5. So all podcasts I've talked about, I think the reasonable thing to do week 3 is to look at people's resumes and put a lot of value in who they've played thus far. So BYU so far has played 2 ranked Pac-12 opponents. Well, I'm sorry, not ranked. They beat Arizona 24-16, and they beat a number 21 Utah team 26-17. Okay, Arizona State currently the favorite, but it's an away game for them, and they have not played a ranked opponent. They played SUU, whoever that is, and beat them by 30-something, and then they played UNLV and beat them by 27. So, like I've been talking about all podcasts, I think the smart thing week 3 when we're starting to figure out these teams is to look at the person with, the best sort of resume and take that as your safe bet. That's not what I'm doing here. Give me Arizona State, forks up. I think they got it right here. They have not covered against a ranked opponent in over 3.5 spread and sometime apparently when they're favored. But I'm picking with the heart here, going back to the well, hopefully encouraging Jameson to go back to that Texas State well. But give me my Arizona State Sun Devils, forks up, and let's get this win here in wherever BYU was located. I think somewhere in West Texas.
Okay, there you
go. 12, so certainly it must be a Texas team, right?
I mean, honestly, anything west of Lubbock is West Texas at this point. So, gotcha. Jameson, who do you got as your wild card?
I need all of y'all. This is actually a pretty serious moment on the podcast. I need a moment of silence. So can everyone just please moment of silence for about 10 seconds? Thank you, guys. I want to just come here and talk about I will be ending my relationship with the Boco Bobcat of Texas State.
How many times have we heard this?
I'm pretty sure they broke up with you at this point, Jameson.
Yeah, you chose against them.
Boco has broken up and moved on.
That's like rampantly cheating on someone and then being like, you know what? Then they break up with you and you're like, you know what? I think it's time to end this thing.
Guys, can you just please be here for me during this tough time? This is really tough for me to say, but I will no longer be picking Boco in any wild card picks. I believe there's a following of us that listen, people that listen to this pod and like, who the heck is Boco every time? Yeah, Texas State. I think we need to go our separate ways. So
You say that, and then they're gonna like just absolutely dominate for their covers for the rest of the season.
They're playing Incarnate Word this week, and they do not have a line out, which is probably the reason why I'm not picking it. But let's just go to my pick. I just had to put that out there. I will no longer be looking at BOCO lines nor picking them. Here's a line that I really, really like, and it hurts me deep down. I'm really scared to pick it because I know it could come with a lot of bad. Let's just say it's just a lot of shit if this goes wrong. But I really like it. Give me Texas minus 26 versus Rice at home, coming off rebounding. I know. I saw a lot what happened, but I saw a lot what happened to Arkansas, and they got manhandled. And there is a completely crisis at the quarterback position. But this is Rice, and this is at Austin, playing on the Longhorn Network, doing what they got to do. And 26 points for a Texas team versus a Rice team at home, I think is an absolute that's an embarrassing number to me. Give me 26 Texas. Oh, okay.
That is a bold move for the podcast, James. I applaud that. And if I could second your wild card, I'm right there with you. You know what? If Jameson doesn't cover, throw an extra loss on my scoreboard. Don't even give me a win if Texas covers. Texas has got this one. Go ahead and just throw an extra loss on my line that you guys don't even have to worry about if Texas doesn't take this one. That's how much I believe in Jameson here. Horns up. Let's get him.
You know who didn't cover that spread, that specific spread against Rice? Arkansas.
No, they did.
They covered 27?
For most people, for a lot of people, it was a backdoor cover.
Wait,
it
they
was
have
like
a comment
it was on
opponent?
bad beats. It was on bad beats.
Oh no, I was saying the Texas spread. I wasn't talking about the overall
my god,
spread.
that's so confusing because the week before Arkansas played Rice.
Yeah,
Yes.
okay, yeah, sorry. Yeah, Arkansas beat Rice by 21.
I'm very well aware that Texas did not do well versus Arkansas. I'm very well aware.
I'm just saying,
This is
common
sometimes-
opponents. Transitive property, Jameson. It always works in sports.
That's some quick maths that I can't do in my head. My mind just sees Texas and horns up, baby.
There you go. Hey, look, our guy Whitman has 5 on Rice. I like it. All right, Blake, who do you got?
So whenever I'm choosing my wild card picks, if it's not Nevada, I'm just looking at the slate and I'm just looking for that line that's like, wow. And that pops out at me that just makes absolutely no sense. And there was one on there this week that just really made it's ridiculous. SMU minus 13.5 at La Tech. La Tech, look, people were high on them because they gave Mississippi State a little run for their money at home. But look, La Tech played Southeastern Louisiana Lions last week and won by 3 at home. They won by 3. This team is, if you look at anybody's power rankings of 1 through 125, they are consistently in the bottom 10 or 15. Like, this La Tech team sucks. And SMU, I think SMU is pretty decent this year. They have Tanner Mordecai took over. Old OU quarterback doing decent. They were down last week at halftime to UNT, but look, they fought back. The offense was electric. And as long as you're competent, like SMU beat UNT last week by more than 14 points significantly. And you're telling me La Tech, a significantly worse team than UNT, they're playing, give me SMU. The number's just too weird. 13.5. I got to take that. I got to believe in the Ponies to then meet up with the Frogs next week and have a good rivalry game. But this line just makes no sense.
Well, there you go. Half of the weekend spread picking the rival. But honestly, in the case of Texas, y'all love throwing them horns up. So
Big Texas podcast.
Wait, Blake. So in that case, are you gonna throw up the little hooves or?
No.
It's close enough to the frog thing.
Their sign is so bad. Like, it is ours, but you can't
higher.
bend. Yeah, you can't bend your fingers. Like, it's like slightly bent. Oh, Jameson bent it too much. Daddy long fingers bent it
It's
too
my
much.
long
And it's
fingers.
slight.
Those look like
slight
rabbit
bend.
ears. Oh my gosh.
I want a good rivalry game next week. So
Oh, that's perfect. That's kind of funny. Rivalry game. I see what you did there.
Oh God, get us
All
off
right.
of this podcast.
Yeah, no, this is the time. This is the time of the weekend spread where we just get exhausted and say dumb stuff. Anyways, Ty, Jameson, Blake, can't wait for another great week of college football. I'm fired up, and I hope you, dear listeners, are as well. So, yeah, that has been the weekend spread presented by the Pigskin Podcast Network. We'll see you next week where we have more picks, more fun, and more madness, hopefully. But until then, enjoy your college football weekend. Good luck out there.